Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer. Take a trip into the macabre world of goth modeling in the new millennium in this spooktacular Spinsterella story. Pick up your copy of Spinsterella Goth Girl Summer in paperback and e-readers at Amazon.com and online booksellers everywhere. Better get the coleslaw, y'all, cause we're having us a barbecue. A lot of black people will complain about how Tyler Perry films present negative images of black women and relationships. However, many of these people will remain silent when it's time to talk about Curtis 50 Cent Jackson's series Power. Now, this Power series that is produced by Curtis 50 Cent Jackson is a series that tells the story of a ruthless drug dealer named James St. Patrick who goes by the alias of Ghost. And as he's gone on for 6 seasons and several spin-offs, this whole series talks about how this drug dealer wants to go legit, but still has to deal with all sorts of struggles as related to his life. Now, as this series has gone on, it basically presents similar stereotypes to the ones presented in Tyler Perry films. Now, many Tyler Perry films show us the image of black men being these violent, out-of-control brutes who go out here and abuse black women. And when it comes to that series of films, people will go out here and get upset about them. However, those people, for some reason, are all silent about Curtis 50 Cent Jackson's series Power and don't have a single word to say about many of the stereotypes that are presented regarding the image of black men in this series. Now, when I look at Power, it basically is the same thing as a Tyler Perry movie. Moreover, it is the same type of narratives presented in books like Alice Walker's The Color Purple and in Oprah Winfrey films. However, it's presented in such a way that basically makes it sanitized and safe for black men to digest instead of seeing it as the insult presented directed at them. Because what they're doing in this media is, like Professor Black Truth has talked about in many of his videos, that this media is mind control. And what they did was go out here with Power is make it in a way that is basically sugar coated, where people buy into this mind control, believing that this is the idealized image of black men. And as they buy into this idealized image of black men, they don't know that they're being poisoned with stereotypes that white supremacists want to present regarding the image of black men. What they do is go out here and present it in a way that's appealing to black men, that is passively gives the black man what he believes to be entertainment, but is aggressively meant to insult him, no different than the minstrel shows of the olden days, where they would again go out here. In the beginning, they had white guys in blackface, but then as time went on, they found black bootleg entertainers to go out here and present the stereotypes and narratives they wanted to see in their films. And as they got these bootleg entertainers out here to go out here like Hattie McDaniel and the guy who was Step and Fetch It, they got out here and got those black entertainers to represent their stereotypes. And what has gotten progressively worse is that now we've got people behind the camera, like a Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Esquire, as I call him, Oprah Winfrey, Lee Daniels, and Tyler Perry. They're basically the production arm of the media arm of white supremacy, controlling the black image. And as they control the black image, what they do is present the narratives that white supremacy wants to see as related to black people as what they want to present as our reality, and then get these black bootlegs to sign off on those narratives, gets them to sign off on the narratives. And as these celebrity bootlegs go out here and sign off on the narratives in an effort to keep it real, what this does is create the mind control that makes you believe that this is reality for black people. And as you buy into that reality, you buy into, again, stereotypes that make the white supremacists feel comfortable about the world of black. And again, the great irony here is that as you're watching the show Power, they're using their mind control to take power over the image of black people and take control control over the black people's perception of self. That's what they do with the power show that flies over the heads of most black men. Most black men don't see how their power is being taken away by watching Power and getting caught up in all the drama going on as related to the streets, as related to this drug dealer, and not seeing how basically you're seeing all of these stereotypes that are presented about black men, saying that, oh, your black man can't go out here and get a legitimate job, your black man can't get an education, your black man gotta go out here and sell drugs. Moreover, they oftentimes love to show you black men being in prison inside of those orange jumpsuits because that's the place that white supremacy wants black people to be as related to our perception of self. And if they can get us to buy into these ideas about ourselves, this becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that goes from the entertainment we watch to the reality of our lives. And that's what white supremacy wants to do with a show like Power. Take your power away. Take your power away as related to you making choices to your life and make you believe that this is just entertainment, when again, this is all about controlling your mind and your perception of self. And Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Esquire will sit there and say, oh, this is possibly part of him drawing from his life experiences, but you would think you would want to try to draw more positive pictures of black people, but sadly this guy doesn't want to do this because he wants to make his compromise with the system of white supremacy and the institution of white supremacy. He wants to go out here and again make that compromise, no different than Oprah Winfrey, no different than Lee Daniels, no different than Tyler Perry. And many people, while they're shining the spotlight on Tyler Perry, won't look at this dude with this power show that basically is about programming an idea in the minds of black boys and black men to believe that this is the reality for black boys and black men, when it's not really the reality. No, there are lots of young brothers and sisters out here doing well in school, lots of brothers and sisters out here doing okay, out here working to build a good life, but we don't get no stories talking about those black people. I find it odd that ever since the Cosby Show left, we don't get these type of stories about those type of middle class families with a father in the home and a mother who care and kids who are going to school and focused on their education. No, we don't get that type of media anymore. No, what we've gotten ever since the Cosby Show left is a road down to decline as related to showing us the so-called real black community, which is the hood. But the whole concept of the hood was created by white supremacists to keep black people in a box that's acceptable to them and keep them in that box that makes their world smooth. And as their world is smooth, they work with compromised people like Curtis 50 Cent Jackson. And as he's sending his kids to the private schools with the white kids, they spellbind the minds of our kids to go out here and be in these streets thinking that that it's all about, again, about being on the streets, selling the dope, and being in these gangs and stuff. Like they sell you this programming, and again, sell you this programming telling you this is a show about power. Well, ironically, taking your power away as a black person to have your freedom of choice. And that's what they did during the 1980s, where they looked to conform black people into these boxes. That's what the white supremacists wanted to do, have us fitting ourselves into these boxes that are acceptable to them. And that's what they do with programming like this. And it really is, again, about taking away your freedom and freedom of choice to be yourself. I go in depth on this in my novel, Spellbound, where I talk about the spellbound mindset that the white supremacist wants to put you in. Again, what they want to do is have you conform to their ideas that they created regarding black people. They don't want you to see who you really are. No, they don't want you to see who you really are. They just want to fit you into a box, fit you into this box where you breathe brand new life into the stereotypes they feel comfortable with regarding seeing black people being thugs, being gangsters, and being all sorts of things. Again, having you turn the black man into a black brute, have you turn the black man into this violent criminal, and say the only place that he needs to be is incarcerated. I mean, I just find it interesting that either you get to see the ghetto in power, or you get to see black men in orange jumpsuits, again, hurting each other and killing each other. They basically, again, show you the black man saying, oh, it's power, but the black man ain't got no power in this show. And again, that's what makes this toxic media for black men, because you sit there and they'll sit there and complain about Tyler Perry and the black men he presents, but are silent about the black men Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Esquire presents, showing how he's basically sold out the black community and is basically open about saying he sold us out, comfortable saying it to the point where he basically, again, is looking to build his own studio on the backs and bodies of black people as related to the power he's taken, thinking he's accomplished something, not understanding that in the system of white supremacy, yes, they'll use you as a tool to eliminate black competition with programming like this. But eventually what happens is white supremacy will turn on you the way they did with Diddy, the way they did with Fat Joe. And again, but this program in and of itself is very troubling, and what's really more troubling is how many black people have a cognitive dissonance. They'll sit there and say Tyler Perry's black men and his narrative of black men are evil, but silent about this one, silent about Curtis 50 Cent Jackson's power. I mean, they're silent about this show that was on Stars for many years that showed, again, the worst images of black people, basically showing you black men as Pookies and Ray Rays out here in this drug game. But we can't get a program showing you a black man being a CEO, showing you a black man handling business, a black father who has his house in order. I mean, we haven't gotten that in over 30 years since The Cosby Show left in 1992, and we haven't really had strong positive images of black people ever since 2001, when Halle Berry and Denzel Washington legitimized the images and stereotypes that were presented in Monsters Ball and Training Day. And it really, again, is saddening for me, because when I look at the black entertainment landscape, it's a sad state of affairs where black people are not taking their power or in control over their image. And what's really sad is a lot of us have bought into a lot of stereotypes about ourselves. A lot of us have become completely spellbound, and again, look to fit ourselves into black boxes that are acceptable to white people, and watch shows like Power, which are meant to present an image of black that's comfortable for white racists to see, because when white racists watch Power, it basically validates all their ideas about black people being involved with crime, black people running the streets, black people wearing the orange jumpsuit and being in prison. This basically makes the white racist feel comfortable, because these are the pictures they want to see regarding black people. They want to see black people in the worst light, and that's what we've gotten for the last 25 years as related to American media. We just get presented the worst images of black people, and this cabal that basically has been installed by white supremacy is out there only looking to give us those type of images of black people. Your Oprah Winfrey's, your Lee Daniels, your Tyler Perry's, your Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Esquires, and many of these bootlicks. Basically, the only entertainment they want to do is provide entertainment for white people, whether it be the slave movies or these Tyler Perry movies where you see the black woman being abused in the struggle industrial complex. Again, all of this media is all part of what I call the struggle industrial complex. And again, people they don't see how it is a complex, again, meant to control your mind and basically make your perception of self be negative. Again, because as related to the literary canon that came before all of this, again, they only elevated black authors like Richard Wright, who showed black people failing, and what they want to do with a show like Power is, again, show you the black man failing, fitting within white supremacy's anti-black narrative, because they don't want you to see success, they don't want you to see competence, they don't want you to see excellence, they don't want to see you be your best. No, they'll go out here, compromise with a black bootlick, allow them to have their kids go to private schools. Meanwhile, your kids are buying into this narrative, being poisoned by these ideas, and instead of them looking to achieve the best, they go out here thinking to keep it real, and then when they're trying to do well in school, they're told that that's acting white. Meanwhile, the same entertainer like a Curtis 50 Cent Jackson or an Ice Cube or many of these other guys who are part of the gangster rap game, they're the ones going out here telling their kids to act white by sending them to the private school. They're the ones sending their kids to the private school on the money that you spend on these entertainers who basically, again, look to tell you how it is in these streets, tell you how it is in these streets as related to a reality that white supremacy wants to present as related to black people that makes them feel comfortable about the image of black people instead of us taking control like Bill Cosby was trying to do and presenting a richer picture of ourselves, a richer picture and more balanced picture of ourselves. That's the whole sad part about today's black media, is that we don't have a balanced picture, and the way we get a balanced picture, I'm seeing, is the only way we're going to do this is if new black media comes out here and counter programs all of these type of narratives, counter programs them with our own content like I do here at the SJS Direct Imprint, try to counter program these narratives, counter program them so that you can see a balanced picture outside of what white supremacy wants you to see, because these compromised individuals, again, yeah, they make movies like A Straw or they make shows like Power, but those stories, again, are about taking away your power, taking away your choice, taking away your ability to go out here and be able to see who you really are, because what white supremacy wants to do is program you to believe that there's only one reality for black people, and that is the ghetto. Again, they want to program a psychological place inside of your mind, program a psychological place inside of your mind, have you stuck in that ghetto in your head so that you don't go out here and move your body forward. They want to keep you, inside of that place where you lose your power, and they go out here and live a high life at your expense. Expense one, as you spending your money supporting them, and two, you not being able to compete with them or their children. That's what happens when you don't understand to take your power. And again, that's why black empowerment and new black media are important, because we're about helping you get your power and take your power so that you can go out here and live the abundant life that God wants you to live. God wants you to live an abundant life. He wants you to have your power, and the way you take your power is not by buying into programs like Power that are meant to program ideas about black life. Again, this is how you take your power, because a lot of people, again, they'll look at Tyler Perry but won't look at Curtis 50 Cent Jackson's power and won't see them as both being anti-black messages with anti-black racism in them. No, they'll look at Tyler Perry and see his, but you don't look at the other side. And at the other side, again, is a message more insidious to black boys and young black men that tell them that life in the street is how it's done. No, there's a whole different way of living life. There are ways to make legitimate money out here in these streets. There's all sorts of things. There's YouTube, there's all sorts of different things like eBay and all other sorts of work that you can do with side hustles. And again, people make legit money all the time and even pay taxes on that money. But it's just that you have to have a vision for where you want to go and what you want to do. And that's how you take your power towards empowering yourself and break out of the spellbound mindset to start learning how to be a black person as a larger part of a larger world. Again, a larger world that where you're not looking to fit yourself in a black box that's acceptable to white people, but looking to be your actual self. And that's the one thing that really is saddening to me, is that black people, after all the work that Bill Cosby did to break down all these doors, I have to give respect to Bill Cosby, because he broke down doors so that we could see a larger, richer picture of ourselves. And sadly, 30 years later, instead of black people taking their power to live that type of life. They're still looking to fit themselves into this black box that's acceptable to white people because a handful of bootlicks told them that this is black, but not looking to take their power to see the larger world where they can have power. They can have power to be themselves, but the only way you can do that is to break the spell off your mind and take your freedom to be yourself. And that's the sad part about black people is, again, 30, 40 years later, we still have a lot of folks not looking to take our power and actualize our potential and be the black people that God wants us to be. Now, if you want to learn about the spellbound mindset and how to break out of that spell from the spellbound mindset that destroys the lives of black people by fitting us into boxes to conform to white supremacy, you can pick up my novel, Spellbound, which presents the darker shade of black where we be our true selves. You can pick that novel up on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Spellbound at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to pick up some positive books that show balanced, humanized images of black people that show a greater picture of life outside of the stereotypes that white supremacy puts in Tyler Perry films and shows like Power, you can pick up the books on the SJS Direct imprint like the ISIS series, the Steam series, the John Haynes series, the books in the Spinsterella series, such as Spellbound, Legendary Mad Matilda, and Spinsterella, my vampire novel, Eternal Night, or my black sorority novel, The Thetas, or Recipe for Success. You can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them at other online booksellers like Draft Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to see me take celebrities to the barbecue like Curtis 50 Cent Jackson Esquire, you can drop a donation to the Patreon, the PayPal, or the Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available in paperback and e-readers, Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl. The aspiring angel takes on a wicked teenage witch in this action-packed, all-new Esteemed series adventure. Pick up your copy of Esteemed Season of the Witch Girl in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers today. Now available in paperback and e-readers, John Haynes, A Thorn in My Side. The man who rules the world takes on an agent from the CIA from the Black Boule in this all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get your copy of John Haynes' A Thorn in My Side in paperback and e-readers at online booksellers everywhere. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.